Hello, and thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Soraya Marshall Wright. Welcome to The World According to Soraya. For those of you who do not know, I'm an estate planning attorney in South Carolina, and I help seniors and families with special needs plan for the unexpected and protect their valuables through strategic planning. All right, so in the month of January, we provided a whole bunch of tips geared towards those who opted to quit their full-time gigs at the end of 2018 and retire in 2019. This month, the month of February, one of my favorites, Black History Month, we are focusing all of our tips on all things related to identifying and keeping your 40 acres and mule. All right, so I actually read this article. It was a Forbes article that came across my timeline sometime last year. It was titled something along the lines of crisis facing the African American community during their retirement years or something like that. After reading the article, it broke my heart, but what it ultimately did was send me down a rabbit hole where I started doing a whole bunch of research about really what contributed or what ultimately led to this crisis and what is contributing to the wealth gap facing African Americans in our country. And all of this led me to a report that was published in 2016 by the Institute for Policy Studies. And in this report, the craziest, most alarming statistic that I ran across was one that basically stated that in the last 30 years, African American wealth hasn't really grown much. And at this rate, if it continues to grow at the same rate over the next 30 years as it did in the last 30 years, it would take us 228 years to accumulate as much wealth as Caucasian families had in the year 2016. Now, this is really a big issue, a multifaceted issue, and I'm not going to pretend like any of the information that I'm going to share with you over the next few weeks would solve this thing entirely. It simply won't. But being an estate planning attorney, call me biased, I do believe strongly that failure or inadequate planning contributes to this issue a whole lot more than we realize. So over the next few weeks, we will definitely discuss different things that are related to the wealth gap between African Americans and other races in America, and how lack or failure to plan actually contributes to that. All right, so next week, we're going to talk about what happens when someone doesn't have a will and they actually leave assets. And believe it or not, it affects future generations. So if you didn't know that inadequate or failure to plan could affect the wealth gap between African Americans and other races in America, now you know. And I'll see you next time.